Hi, my name is Marcus Walton, and I'm going to be going over the government inspector and focusing on the character development through each of the characters, each and every one of the characters. And I'm just going to go down the cast line. I'm not going to go in any specific order. And yeah, just going to go over how some characters changed and how some of them didn't change at all throughout the play. So starting off with Alina. Alina was Anton, who's the mayor. She's his right-hand man, basically. And she starts out as like a spokeswoman, it seems, like someone you would see speaking for a government campaign. She's a very strong woman, and she really stands behind her beliefs. And like what her beliefs are is that she hates Jews, homosexuals, and anything that she does believe in, she'll relate to the Bible. And she always said, it's inferred, like it's inferred in the Bible. And it's just funny because it reminded me of a lot of people in the South, and just a lot of people in general who really use the Bible in their own ways to try to put the Bible behind what they believe in, even if it's something that's not really in the Bible. And yeah, so that's Alina. So she never changed throughout the story at all. I mean, she stayed exactly who she was the whole time. Moving on next to Klestikov. So Klestikov was the homeless, selfish bum who, due to the selfishness and ignorance of the mayor and his representatives, receives almost a free pass in his next step in life, basically. He plays along with the idea that he is the government inspector, and while doing so, he receives payments. He receives a wife who is this not the son, the daughter of the mayor Anton, and basically he gets a head start at ruining somebody else's life because it seems like that's all he does. So he also never changes throughout the play. He verbally abuses Osif, his only true friend and servant, who ends up losing at the end of the play. Klesikov is definitely the worst of all the corrupt, in my opinion, just because of how selfish he is. But in the play, I felt as though he fit in perfectly because he gave the mayor and each of his representatives kind of a taste of their own medicine. Moving on to Anton, the mayor. He seems at first like he's selfish, but he also seems as though he has a good side. But the only good side is that he's willing to risk anything and everything for his daughter, and that's at least the way it seemed at the beginning of the play and throughout most of the play. But at the end of the play, when the real government inspector is revealed and his life is put at jeopardy, he shows just how selfish he is when he puts all his money and basically just everything that he has in his name, he puts it towards himself and saving himself instead of trying to save his daughter, who is just taken by Klestikov, who's basically going to get her life ruined. And it just showed how truly selfish Anton was. So he didn't really change throughout the play, it just he revealed his true colors and just how evil of a person he was. Next, I'm going to go over Anna. Anna was the super annoying wife of Anton. I mean, she was just super selfish, always got what she wanted, and she just always wanted more, more, and she's just very, very selfish. I mean, like she walked around and just talked as if she was like the sexiest creature like ever created by God. I mean, like just super annoying. And she also never changed. I mean, she stayed exactly who she was the entire time. And she tried influencing Klesikov to take her with him because she believed he was the government inspector, and she was looking for basically just an even better life than the one she already had. I mean, she even slept with him just to try to really convince him to take her with him. Moving on to Maria, the daughter of Anton and the stepdaughter of Anna. She believes she's in like a fairy tale, it seemed, where like she's stuck in this horrible house with this horrible step aunt, almost like Cinderella and really like any of the fairy tales. And I mean, she's stuck because Anna's always belittling her and breaking her down mentally, and this is what leads to like her innocence and her ignorance because it blinds her and she doesn't see that Klesikov really doesn't care about her, and she only sees Klesikov as like her Prince Charming and her only way out to like a better life. And she has a chance to say no and not go with him when he does like physically abuse her and slap her in the face, but she's so blinded by her happiness and her ignorance that she just goes along with it and ends up leaving. So she never changed because she had an opportunity to change and she didn't change. Moving on to Osif, Kolesnikov's servant. Um, Osif really did anything for Kolesnikov. Was always there for him. We really just really just a good friend, and definitely my favorite character in the sense that she changed the most throughout the play and changed for the better at least. I mean, the only character to change for the better, and she would even suggest positive things for Kolesnikov to do with his life, and was just always looking out for him to better himself and get out of trouble. And at the end of the play, she shows that she stands up for herself, and she leaves Kolesnikov because she's just tired of how he treats her. And it just really showed that she was no longer a coward. Like, she was willing to stand up for herself and stand up for what was right. And she ends up leading the revolution against the corrupt mayor and his people. And it was just like the biggest positive change throughout the entire play, and really the only positive change that there was in the play. So Osif definitely changed, and changed for the better. Moving on to Ivan, the director of communications, who ironically sucks at communication. This character was hilarious. It was just, he was always rambling about something and always threw his 2 cents in, even if his 2 cents were completely irrelevant to the conversation, and usually he was always irrelevant. Um, Ivan was definitely a coward. He was too weak-hearted to stand up for himself and what he believed in. It wasn't until the end of the play, when it was already too late, that he tried being the better person and tried winning over the heart of Maria, but it was just too late. And it also seemed like he wasn't one to be selfish, but in order to keep his job and his friends, and basically for him to stay up top with the mayor and all those guys, it seemed as though he had to act the way that they wanted him to act. And in that way, he was being a coward. And so I believe he changed in how he was no longer afraid to express his love for Maria. But I believe he stayed the same in the fact that he was still a coward, in the sense that he wouldn't stand up for what was right, like Osip did. And he continued to be corrupt. I'm going to move on to Avis, the judge. The judge was also another hilarious character. Completely stayed true to who she was, and just a super corrupt little man. Like, she was hilarious. Just very evil and conniving, and wasn't trying to hide the fact that she wanted everything for herself and would do anything for herself. Like, it didn't matter. So, I mean, Avis just stayed true to herself. I mean, so I can't really judge that character for being bad, because she was never fake to anybody. Moving on to Artemis, the director of health, who again, ironically, is really fat. Another funny character. Really funny watching how throughout the play he continued to try to eat the snacks and was always getting slapped in the face because he wasn't supposed to be eating the snacks by his doctor, the trainer. And like Ivan, Artemis is also a coward and doesn't stand up for himself or what he believes. This allows Anton and Avis to walk all over him and never changes throughout the story. I mean, he continued to get walked on. And last but not least is the doctor, basically the key character in the play, who was the real government inspector. I thought he did a great job faking as the doctor, faking as the German doctor. Very funny to watch. It wasn't until we found out Kolesnikov wasn't the government inspector that I knew the doctor was. But yeah, very, very good job. He kind of confused me a bit because it seemed as though he was almost corrupt in a way at the end of the play. But yeah, he didn't change much throughout the play, except for the fact that he obviously changed from the German doctor to the English-speaking government inspector. So yeah, all in all, a great play. Not a lot of character changes. A lot of them stayed the same. A lot of them stayed selfish and just very conniving and to themselves. But Osif was definitely the standout character who changed for the better and wasn't corrupt and led the revolution to almost like a democracy. So yeah, that's it.